Hello everyone, it's Tom again, here with my next little video, this time on ladies tennis fashions. I've got a few dresses to show and some illustrations from my magazines or programs. I've got some prints as well from the 1880s, and I'll just go through them in this short video, hopefully this time. And yes, let's get on with it. So in the beginning, tennis was a leisurely pursuit, and it was played on the gardens in large manors, large houses, and the ladies' fashion in that time was quite extreme. It was long dresses that might just have been an inch or two above the ground, that didn't show ankles because it wasn't considered ladylike to have that at the time. And so they had also bustles below the dresses, they had petticoats, they wore large hats because of the sun. It was just tippy-tappy over the net, and you just basically got it back and forwards, and it wasn't very active, if you like. So I'll just show you a couple of prints. First one is from 1885. It's a print of the Prospect Park in Brooklyn, New York, and it's from the Harper's Weekly magazine. The ladies were in long dresses and had flat top rackets. The other two illustrations that are just coming up show the fashions again, but this time they're advertising the Elliman's embrocation for aches and pains. You can still see where they're wearing the long dresses and the large hats. So for the ladies, it wasn't uncommon for them to be in pain because they're wearing these tight-fitting clothes and having corsets below. These especially would cut into their body and they would actually make them bleed. So here are a few more illustrations from the 1880s and one from 1906, and just let you have a look through these, and then we'll continue after them. In 1977, the Wimbledon Museum brought out a little pamphlet on the story of women's tennis fashions. Now this started from pre-1919, and then it went from the years of 1919 to 1926, 1926 to 39, 1940 to 45, 1946 to 46 to 70, and then from 1970 to 1977 when the pamphlet was produced. Next little illustration is from this pamphlet, and this shows the winner of the women's singles at Wimbledon in 1884. This is Miss Maud Watson. She's aged 19 at the time, and this is what she wore in winning. She just had beaten her sister Lillian in the final. Once championship matches began, it became a serious sport, and clearly those clothes were not conducive to running or playing shots freely. So not only did the styles have to change, but this meant attitudes to women in sporting contenders also needed to improve. So what we see today, of course, is an independent woman, strong in her conviction of being a sports icon and someone to be taken seriously. Tennis designs therefore had to evolve. The fashions had to allow for shorter skirts and dresses and allowed freedom of movement. Stockings were still worn, so the legs were not bare. And the 1920s, of course, brought the Art Deco movement. And so I've got here a couple of designs, Art Deco designs, that you can see examples of from a 1920s magazine called The Modern Trader. And this is the magazine. And this was produced by Grace Brothers of Sydney. Now, I can hear you laughing now, but it's not the Grace Brothers of Are You Being Served? It is actually a company in Sydney. And you can see they brought out this magazine. It was about the new season's fashions. You can see here that the dresses, of course, are not as long, but still not very short. So I'd like to introduce you to Angelina. She is the model today for some of my dresses that I'm going to show you later on in this video. And you can see here she's modeling a 1920s dress in my collection. This one is in pale cream silk with a crossed racket design on the pocket for holding a ball. This is just a simple, shapeless type of design that is stepped into to pull it up and put it on, or you just slip it over the head. From there, we have some French magazines from the 1930s, and these are called Le Petit Écho de la Mode, and this shows how the fashions have changed, but they still don't give full movement for running and playing shots. But they're rather nice designs. These could be purchased. In 1905, May Sutton, tennis player from the early days, rolled back her sleeves on the tennis court because it had been hot, and she had done this to cool herself down while playing. And this showed her bare wrists. Of course, this was, again, not acceptable. So it was deemed revolutionary, but it was also seen as the start of women's fashions changing to suit the game. But it wasn't until 1919 when the French player Suzanne Lenglen, or Lenglen, whatever you want to pronounce it, it's a little picture of her here. She entered the scene and the dress code changed quite dramatically. In the Wimbledon tennis fashion pamphlet that I showed you earlier on, it was written that all women players should go on their knees in thankfulness to Suzanne for delivering them from the tyranny of corsets. And I can believe that was quite an exciting thing to have happened then. So not until 1929 was the First Lady not wearing stockings. And this was Billy Tapscott from South Africa. The most famous tennis designer of clothing for ladies was Ted Tinling. He was an American. He was 6'6" in stature. And as a fashion couturier, he began to design clothes for the leading lady players. And one of these was the American Gussie Moran in the 1940s and 50s, whose ranking reached number 4 in the US. And she was always sought after for glamour shots. She was probably considered the Anna Kournikova of her day, which was a beautiful woman, obviously was sought after for photographs and for selling dresses and such likes. So Ted designed her an outfit for Wimbledon in 1949, and to wear underneath it, he designed a pair of frilly knickers. And it's the knickers which are the most famous thing that everyone considers of Ted Tinling's designs, because they caused an uproar, because the dresses were quite short by this time. glimpses of Gussie's knickers could be seen as she was playing on court. And it was rumoured that the photographers, the press photographers, would be seen lying on the ground taking photos to see if they could catch photos of the panties, the knickers. And so it was mentioned that the committee of the All England Lawn Tennis Club did say in the press that she was bringing vulgarity and sin into tennis because of these frilly knickers. So I've got a little picture here that you can see. You can't really see much of them. It's a black and white picture, of course. I can't find a colour one. But it just gives you an idea of this sort of thing that they were taking pictures of. I also have a Australian programme for the championships that were held at Kooyong in Victoria. So this was the 63rd championship. And in this, there is an advert that Gussie Moran was advertising the Gussie Moran ladies model from Dunlop. I've got 3 books in my collection related to Ted Tinling. They follow his life from being a kid playing tennis to umpiring matches, becoming an administrator in the sport, and actually running tournaments. And he was a very well liked person by all accounts. And in this here Toyota Classic program from 1980, there's actually a story in here about Ted, and I've done some excerpts from the books, from Love and Faults, and which is this one, Love and Faults. And the other 2 books I've got are this one here, Tingling 60 Years in Tennis. So they're all basically about his life and whatnot. And this one here is called White Ladies. So this one is, it's got a chapter on each of the women that he designed clothing for. There's a chapter here just on Gussie about what he designed for her. It's got a few pictures in here. It's got one on Little Mo, who was Maureen Connolly, and quite a few other people. And it's got an odd picture or 2 of some of the designs that they put in there. So they're quite good. They're quite good to read. In my collection, I have 2 dresses by Ted Tinling. These were given to me by our club president of the club I played for, and she was moving house and she decided to get rid of all her clothes. She gave me most of the dresses and whatnot, and in amongst them were these 2 Ted Tinling dresses made specifically for the Australian market, and they were sold by Simpson of Australia. So you can see these, they're being modelled by Angelina again. And so the first one is predominantly white. It's got a single pocket at the bottom. It's got a pink collar with a scalloped edge. And on the back, you can see that this collar is actually the petals of the flower. As down the back of the dress where the zip is, it can be seen the continuation of the green stem. Second one is again mostly white, but it has a gingham trim in blue around the collar and the bodice edge. Cut work or open work is used to give free airflow and to keep you cool while you're out in the Australian sun. 4 buttons at the front are for design only. They don't open because there is a zip opening at the side. I was lucky enough to meet Ted Tinling when I was a lot younger, and I managed to, this is my autograph book, so this is part of my collection, and in here is Ted Tinling's autograph. So this was when I was probably in my 30s. So very nice to have that in my collection as well. I have many pieces of male clothing in my collection. So t-shirts, shorts, limited edition shirts that would have been produced from America and UK. But my ladies' clothing is much wider expanse, and so I've done 4 little videos of a few of the other pieces that are in my collection that I think they're quite nice to have a look at, and so I'll just show you these and do a little talk about them. So here we have a dress which has got a daisy and leaves applique on the front shoulder. This is made of quite a thick polyester cotton. It probably would have been quite warm to wear in Australia, but it's quite a nice design. Here we have a pale green cotton dress with an intricate embroidered design of roses and other flowers. And this is all done in a silk sheen thread. So there's a lot of work in this, and it also has some open work on it again to keep you cool. And here we have a white dress that's got a rainbow inspired center band, and this is what was called a halter neck in my day, where the strap was put over the head to keep the dress on, and it just basically buttoned at the back of the neck. It's quite a nice design for that one too. And lastly, we have a Fred Perry design, and the label on this is Made in Britain. It's got a single row of green and white daisies around the waist, and the Fred Perry logo on one shoulder at the front. And finally, I'll just leave you with these 3 lovely postcards, which show some ladies in the lawn tennis attire. These are from France, from 1908. I've got quite a collection of postcards as well, so they might be covering lots of themes, such as the ladies themselves, loving couples, and so they played on the love score in tennis, and so they would always have love mentioned in the postcard somewhere. They would have tennis courts, holiday resorts that had tennis courts, matches being played, and clubs, and I've even got some comic postcards that they're kiddies comic postcards, or little animals. So you have cats playing tennis or teddy bears playing tennis and such like. So they're quite fun to have a look at. But I've just done these 3 postcards so that you can have a look at how nice some postcards can be. So if you're thinking of collecting something small in tennis, they're an ideal thing. Don't take up much room, and you get a lot of pleasure. And they're also written on the back, so some of them have got quite long stories of where the people are, what they're doing, so they make for interesting reading too. And that's my video for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please look after yourselves, and if you would like to subscribe, please do. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. and look forward to doing the next video for you. Bye.